Wait, both McLarens just got disqualified. I need to show you what just happened because this changes everything for the championship fight. 3 hours after the checkered flag fell in Las Vegas, the FIA just dropped a bombshell that threw the entire title battle upside down. If you thought the championship was settled, you were dead wrong. Stay tuned. So here is what happened. Lando Norris crossed the line in second place. Oscar Piastri finished fourth. Max Verstappen won the race. Classic Las Vegas drama, right? The Mercedes cars moved up the order. Everyone took their photos on the podium and then silence, because something didn't add up. And 3 hours later, the stewards called McLaren to see them, not a discussion, a summons. The reason? Both McLaren cars were held longer than usual in Parc Ferme. That's the lockdown area where the teams can't touch their cars. The FIA technical delegate, Joe Bauer, was measuring something very specific, the rearmost skid block on the underside of the cars. You know what a skid block is, right? It's that protective plank underneath the car that stops drivers from running the chassis directly on the track. It's a safety feature and a way to police car performance. Here's the rule, that skid block must be at least 9 mm thick. 9 mm. That's about the thickness of a thick pencil lid. Both Norris's and Piastri's car measured in at below 9 mm. They were worn too thin. Now McLaren tried to argue their case. They said there was unexpected porpoising, that's the bouncing motion of the car during the race. They said the conditions were unusual. They even suggested possible accidental damage from the turn 1 collision Piastri had with Liam Lawson. But here is where it gets harsh. There is no provision in the regulations for any penalty other than disqualification. The stewards essentially said, we believe this wasn't intentional, but the rule is rule. Both drivers were excluded from the results. Okay, so let me paint you the picture of what this actually means for the championship. Before the disqualification, Lando Norris was 42 points clear of Max Verstappen. 42. That's a massive gap with only 2 races left. Norris was basically untouchable. After the disqualification, watch this swing. Verstappen is now level with Piastri on 366 points. Norris only has a 24-point lead, a quarter of the gap he had 30 minutes earlier. Verstappen went from pretty much out of it to absolutely back in the fight. This isn't just a penalty, this is a championship reset. Here's what this means for what's coming next. Qatar and Abu Dhabi, that's 58 points still on the table. 58. If Norris doesn't expand that 24-point lead this weekend in Qatar, the championship becomes a genuine 3-way fight going into Abu Dhabi. Think about it, Norris needs to outscore both Piastri and Verstappen by just 2 points in Qatar to clinch the title. But that's not what the steward just gave him. They gave him a 24-point margin over 2 drivers who are hungry, angry, and feeling like they've just got handed a lifeline. Verstappen's been saying all season he is fighting for a 5th consecutive world championship. He's just got a reason to believe again. Now, if this feels similar, it should. This exact same infraction happened earlier this year. Lewis Hamilton was disqualified from the Chinese Grand Prix for excessive rear skid block wear. Ferrari's skid was too thin that day too, so McLaren knew this rule. Everyone knew this rule. The question everyone's asking, how does the team that won the Constructors' Championship, the best team on the grid, have both cars fail the same inspection that already took out Hamilton once this season? Was it a setup choice, a risk they took, or just the Vegas conditions pushing the cars harder than expected? McLaren's argument about the unexpected porpoising and difficult conditions, it might explain how it happened, but it doesn't change the fact that it happened. But here's what's really fascinating. This proves the F1 championship is never ever decided until that final checkered flag in Abu Dhabi. Not 42 points down with 2 races to go. Not the fastest car on the grid. Not pole position. Nothing is certain. Max Verstappen came into this race 49 points down. And he left this race level on points with Piastri. That's not luck, that's championship mentality. He executed a perfect race, won when it mattered, and then the stewards handed him the biggest gift of the season. And Norris, he's still leading, he's still the favorite, but he just lost 18 points to Verstappen in 3 hours. So here is what you need to know heading into Qatar. The championship is alive. Verstappen has mathematically impossible odds becoming possible. Norris can't afford any mistakes. And Piastri, his McLaren teammate, is now his biggest title rival. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because we're going to break down every single session at Qatar next week. This is going to be chaos and you don't want to miss it. What do you think? Can Norris hold on? Or is Verstappen about to pull off the impossible? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see my full Las Vegas race analysis with the McLaren still in the results, I'll link that up here. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in Qatar.